Hi everybody, this is group 16. My name is Xue Feng.
And my name is Ye Wang.
My name is Jing Liang. And my name is Stanley.
And here's our presentation for our program. What we did, it was for we need to design a program for for healthcare providers. Basically, the program will take the patient information and take the information to the doctor, and doctor will send the feedback to the patient, and the system consists two parts, which is doctor side and patient side, like I said before. And for our design, we use NetBeans and for coding for a quick GUI design, and we use a Scrum model approach, which lead us to more communication and more incrementally reducing the probability of major bugs. And we along the way we have three phases to develop our final programs. And here's our phase 1.
This is our phase 1. So for the first meeting, we have some brainstorming and come up with our SRS document, basic idea for the use case diagram, and format of the user guide. And we decided to use Java as our programming language, and schedule a couple follow-up meetings, and our group leader is Diming Liu. And for improve ourselves, we can question each other's work, so we can improve as a whole team, so we can have a better system. And this is our system feature. So it has 4 different parts. The first part is the actor, second part is description and priority, third part is the simulated sequence, and the fourth part is a response sequence. So with the system feature, with lots of details, so well defined. So when people look at our SRS, they can know what this function does. Yeah. And this is our use case diagram. So we have 2 actors. One is patient, another one is doctor. So they will share the same function, create new account and manage account detail. The patient will have a view history, patient new entry, pin history reminder, and the doctor will have accept, reject patient, will patient information, doctor's new entry. This is our user guide. So it has lots of detail. By following the user guide, we can implement the system very easily. And we have 2 big problems. So our use case diagram and SRS is not detailed enough. We fixed that on the phase 3. This is our phase 2. Yeah.
So this is our phase 2. The goal and objectives of phase 2 was to create a schedule. The second thing we needed to do was to create the class diagram and the class descriptions. And the third thing we need to do is to make sure that we create our functional test cases based on refined user stories. And the refined user stories comes from the user stories that we did, the use case diagram that we did in phase 1. And the last thing that we needed to do was we needed to implement current implementations. And so this is our part 1 of the project. As you can see here, we implemented it a Gantt chart, and we also had, so you can see here to the left, we have our all the tasks with its begin dates and all of the end dates available. And the second thing is here you can see on the right that we have our Gantt chart, all laid out based on the begin date and the end date, and also we had our work divided. I don't know if you can see it clearly here, but we also divided our work between all of our group members, so they're all scheduled and mapped out. And this is our class diagram with the class description. And so we basically went back looked at our GUI, we looked at our use case diagram, and we basically abstracted. So we went into we went into a bit more details about what each of those things are, and we created our, based on our classes, we created our class responsibility collaborator diagram, and so you can see here down on the bottom. And so we compiled everything together based on everything that we needed to do, and from that point on, we used our for part 3 of the program, we needed to create functional test cases based on our use case diagram. And so, as you can see here on the top, we have our activity diagram with the flowchart, basically detailing every action that the user takes from start to finish. And then we have our paths laid out here, and then we have our actual table with all the functional test cases and all the inputs with expected outputs based on the paths. And so the next thing we needed to do was, now that we have pretty much all of our program designed, is implementing it. And so phase 2, the end of phase 2 is beginning to implementing our program. And so we had to use a version control system, and we decided to use GitHub for that. As you can see, these are some of the code that we've written. These are some of the first rough draft of the class diagram. You can see there's also some refiner user stories. That's what we used to create our functional test cases. And from there, we moved on to phase 3.
For phase 3, we need to finish the coding for the program and doing the testing for the program. For the coding, we basically, based on the class diagram, we use the model view controller architecture. On the left side of the class diagram, it's basically the model class, like doctor, patient, and the users. And we have one controller class, which is data accessor. He get and store the data to the file. And we have like login frame and doctor frame, the query frame. Those are view classes. Those three kind of classes, they can communicate with each other. When we finish the coding, we are also doing the black and white testing to test the reliability of the program. In phase 2, we create some test case, and based on that, we're doing the blackboard test for the program, and we also create unit tests for white box testing. And that's it.
And for the conclusion, after we done the project, we finally know how to define the specific requirements from description of an issue or the problem needs to solve. And the process of designing our project is actually virtualizing the real-life teamwork. And from the coding process, we actually realized that it's not always better to code individually, because putting each other's code together take more time and it's more difficult. And meetings and communications are the most important stuff in the teamwork that would decide if your project gonna be good or bad. And the process of designing the project actually helps us to understand the purposes and objectives of the course, and it brought up the implementations of the course concepts such as team buildings and design models and software engineering. And it actually helped us with the future career choosing for since we are all software engineering related. And this is our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.